following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Welcome to Bass number 559. Is everyone here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. We had a little trouble with StreamYard a couple minutes ago. I just wanted to make sure that all is functioning as it's supposed to. So here we are. And we got a lot going on out there, guys, to talk about this week.
Indeed.
On a Tuesday, which I've got to point out, not a Monday. So we'll see what happens.
Anything.
No, I mean,
Anything's possible in this crazy Tuesday world.
Well, we never seem to do well when we go off our normal day, so we'll see what happens.
well,
Jinx the shit out of it.
I mean, if it wasn't for, it's a good thing we moved to Tuesday so we can get all this juicy NBA player movement.
Oh my.
Lakers partying like it's 2009.
I mean, yeah, we're really gearing up for the 2012 NBA title. Lakers going for that three-peat.
Well,
yeesh.
you'll sell some jerseys. That's the main thing. They'll sell a shitload of jerseys.
Sure. I like. This is why I didn't. This is a secondary reason as to why I didn't necessarily want the Lakers to get Westbrook, because now this is what you have to do. You still got what 11 spots on an NBA roster total, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, we got 3 of them. How do you fill out the rest when you have $10 to spend? Well, you sign the oldest roster known to mankind, apparently. Like, literally, the Lakers at this point have 3, maybe 4 guys under the age of 30. One of them being Anthony Davis. The other guys, bench players. But then you get, Russ is 32. LeBron is, 35, 36?
Yeah.
Carmelo is just is older, 36, 37.
I want to see this team on the floor with Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. I don't know how you would even work that, because Melo and Westbrook both think that they're the guy, and maybe not so much anymore. Who's to say? But
yeah, Melo has done a very good job transitioning into a role player. Like, he was great for Portland over the last year or so.
Yeah,
as that guy coming off the bench, as the catch and shoot guy. I think he's done a good job morphing into that role player spot. But like, they signed Trevor Ariza, who, for context, is the last player still playing in the NBA to have won a championship with Kobe. He was on the 2009 Lakers team that won the title.
All right.
And they're bringing him back at 36 years old as like a bit player on the bench. Like, I don't know why I love Trevor Ariza, cool guy. Loved him on those championship runs at the beginning of the decade, but like, this team is fine when you have the big 3 out there. And even then, I don't know if it really is that fine, because LeBron and Russ both like to have the ball a lot.
I was going to ask, who takes the last shot?
Oh, I mean, it's still LeBron.
Okay.
But, honestly, though, LeBron, over the course of his career, has shown that he is willing to step out of the way when necessary, where a lot of guys at that talent level wouldn't do that. So maybe I'd still rather have him have the ball than Russell Westbrook, but in a situation where you might go, maybe we give Russ the last shot here just to see what happens. I don't know if LeBron would have a big problem with that.
Yeah, if only he stepped aside for someone else when they came to make a second Space Jam movie. That would have been nice.
No, yeah,
That's asking a lot.
yeah. Yeah, didn't you say that? Were you joking when you said that Dwight Howard was back?
No, Dwight Howard is on the Lakers.
Oh, that's right, he is, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was on this. He was on the Lakers when they won the title in the bubble. Then he went to Philadelphia last year, and now he's coming back.
Wow.
For reasons I don't know. Was he helpful in that championship run? Yeah, more helpful than I thought, but it doesn't mean I want him now.
Well, you never know. I mean, we saw this work once before in Miami, where it was D Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, a bunch of like guys that were 39, and they won a couple titles. So who knows? I mean, I'm not going to write it off entirely, but you know, Dwayne Wade and Russell Westbrook, two entirely different, I mean, similar players from a stat standpoint, but I think entirely different from a how they approach things standpoint. Whereas I don't, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
keep bringing that complaint up, and my real basketball head friends are like, "No, what are you talking about? Russ is great as a teammate, and his teammates love him, and blah blah blah." It's like, well, okay, then why does he keep getting traded?
Well, that and Kevin Durant couldn't get out of there fast enough to go join whatever team was winning when he had the chance.
Yeah, true.
Because they had a pretty solid nucleus there. They had Westbrook, Durant. Who was the other one that was
Harden?
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you know, and they couldn't get it done. I don't know. It's it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Then he and Harden down in Houston too, same thing.
Yeah.
But I think that
Harden, you know, wore a fat suit to get out of there.
Well, Harden seems to be at least in that way was more of a problem when it came to sharing the ball, because Harden wants to shoot the ball every time they're on that side of the court.
Just nothing but threes, you know.
Threes and jumping into dudes, yeah. I don't know. I as we all know, I mean, none of us are basketball experts here, so I want to like plead ignorance and defer to the basketball heads out there that might know or understand it better than I or us or anybody. But like, this doesn't seem to be a winning formula. Like it to me, it just seems like there's too many variables that could throw this out of whack and make it a true disaster. If it all works perfectly, then great. You know, you win a title probably. I mean, assuming that you don't have to go through whatever the Nets juggernaut looks like at the end of next year, and even if that stays together. But I guess it's a similar thing.
Yeah, you know what, though? We're not NBA experts by any definition of the term, but I don't think it takes an NBA expert to look at this and go, there could be a lot of problems here. I don't think you need to have a vast knowledge of NBA basketball and personnel to go, oh, Westbrook and Melo and LeBron and AD and all this. Yeah, you know, this could go a lot of different directions.
Andy, are you
Andy switched avatars?
Well, because I'm reading the news as we've been doing this, and so I was going Bears for a while because the Cubs have given me no hope. They've sold everyone that could be sold, and I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit about the White
and the Nationals. What a day for those two teams.
Oh yeah, and they were in a series against one another, so they were just like. So anyway, the Bears. the Bears were looking for. I was like, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just shift over to Bears. It's almost a season, and then they just announced they've added like 5 guys to the COVID list, and a bunch of guys are hurt. So I'm just like, fucking whatever. The Bulls are signing guys. So
for those listening to this after the fact, by the way, on StreamYard we have little avatars, and Andy has been switching through about 4 different ones every like minute or so.
I'm settling on the Bulls for now. I mean, I don't really give a shit about the Bulls, but I mean, it's just they're doing positive things at the moment. So
Lonzo Ball and trading for DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, making noise. Good for them. But
I mean,
it's nice to try.
I love Benny the Bull. Who doesn't love Benny the Bull?
Well, it's been a hard few days.
They have that cool musical number when they come out. That's nice.
Yeah, because they still
doing
think
the Alan
the
Parsons Eye in the Sky thing. Is that still their bit?
Oh yeah, has not changed. I mean, they've updated the intro like CG video a little bit. It still doesn't look great. I mean, it looks pretty good. It's nowhere near as magical or amazing as like those old San Jose Sharks ones where they would those ones were really cool. But yeah, so the Chicago sports weird week. Between the Cubs just dealing away, fire sale, bunch of stars.
What is? I mean, I've seen plenty of our teams do it over the years, and when it's a team like that Cubs team that finally wins the World Series, and now you have to face the reality on the other end of it and start selling away those championship hearts and souls of that team, right? Like, what does that feel like to you, Andy, to see that?
I mean, it was
being dismantled.
I mean, it was a long time coming. A lot of people were reacting like this team was in the middle of a playoff push and got sideswiped and blindsided by the management. But this team has been disappointing since they won the title, and they have a lot of issues with. Some of them have issues with injuries. Other ones were just they were not developing, striking out, like Javi Baez. He's very exciting, human highlight reel on defense, but he just swings at trash. He always has, and he always will. And, Rizzo is the guy who I thought would be a long-time retired Cub, but him and his agent basically decided what they were worth, and it was more than what the Cubs were willing to pay, and their farm system is shit. So they did what they had to do, but for a lot of older fans who I've talked to, it was almost like a funeral the other day because...
Well, is there anybody on that team now that was like a key guy from that championship squad?
I think Wilson Contreras was. I don't want to say he was a key guy.
He was on the team, though.
He was on the team. He was kind of, he was the third catcher, so he was kind of splitting backup catcher duties at the.
But it's kind of like what you said, where people thought that Rizzo would be a Cub for life. Like you think that any of those guys that are on the team that breaks the curse, like that is a team that will stick together until it's done. Like that they would be Cubs until their careers are over. And, the team would just kind of ride the wave of that, good or bad. And you just have to kind of give them deference like, hey, this is the legendary team and we're going to stick with this forever. And now it's the guy that's going to be like the long tenured Cub is David Ross.
Yeah. Really not.
Right? Like, I mean, that's so weird to me. Like, I think of like the Ducks, and it's like we have and will let Ryan Getzlaf, who resigned finally, like he will be a Duck until he no longer wants to be, until his bones break apart, and it's like, okay, you did your part. Thank you so much for everything you did for this team, and we're so glad to have you for the last 10 years or whatever, 15 years. And it's like the Cubs don't have any of that now. They're all gone. They sold for parts.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm fine with it. I've been a Cub fan since they were just absolute trash, and that was the norm, was garbage Cubs. So, I mean, it's kind of like, all right, it's time for these new fans to realize what being a Cub fan is all about, that's dealing with, I mean, it is funny, but it's also in a way like, hey, it's, if you want to be a Cub fan in the long term, you're going to have to deal with sometimes it's just time to tear it all down and be bad. And I like to feel like sports fans now, regardless of the market, understand that like there are just periods where you have to suck. You got to bleed a little bit to heal. And I don't know. I'm the Cubs are doing the right thing, but it is just kind of a sad thing. But it sucks seeing John Lester in a Cardinals uniform. Ugh. God, that makes me sick. Brandon Saad as a fucking St. Louis Blue. Ugh, just not great to see that. I wasn't happy about that at all.
I'm a little surprised that I mean I don't follow the Cubs closely enough to know, but I mean Chris Bryant was like the guy, the prospect that came up. He didn't live up to it or what the story is with him, but
couldn't stay healthy. He had a lot of like a lot of these guys, they peaked, and it's not like their numbers were just really bad, but like I don't know what the exact stat would be, but their like ability to hit with runners in scoring position was probably among the worst in baseball. Like there was like hitting ground ball or short pop out or a strikeout with guys in scoring position for the Cubs has been a huge problem. So many guys left on base, and Bryant has also just been dealing with nagging injuries and missed a lot of time. And there was always, he's been on the trade block rumored for a long time anyway. So I'm just glad it's over with. And I think it was more unusual because it was over the course of an afternoon.
Yeah.
And one guy on Twitter said it best. He said, today, Cubs general manager Jed Hoyer settles all family business. It was kind of like the end of Godfather, where it's one by one guys get taken out. But
yeah, I mean the team that did that even more so than the Cubs. Do the Nationals have a roster? Are there guys that are on that?
Yeah,
team
they're
still?
just the.
I
Whatever
mean, they have dudes who show up and play baseball.
Like they sent half the roster to the West Coast. Like,
Well,
all of them went to the Dodgers, Padres, and A's. It was, and well, I guess Kyle.
yeah, I mean
Schwarber.
the Dodgers picked up Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, which I thought
That's
was
crazy.
a hell of a move, and,
Oh my
and blocking the
God.
Padres in the process of doing it.
That's the worst part. Like the Padres thought they had him, and they're like, "Well, we like this deal a lot, and we're ready to commit on it, but we actually have one more phone call to take. We'll be right with you." And then, yeah, by the end of the afternoon, the Padres had lost Max Scherzer, and the Dodgers not only got Max Scherzer but Trey Turner in the process as well. So that's yeesh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Death Star. That team, assuming that it doesn't go back to its old form, they're going to repeat. That's craziness.
But you look at, I don't understand this, and maybe I just haven't followed it close enough. But how in the world are the San Francisco Giants doing this?
No idea.
I mean,
They're a complete surprise. to anybody
yeah,
that I can talk to,
say.
yeah.
It's an odd year. It doesn't make sense for them to do this in an odd year. They're breaking the cycle.
That's true. But you know they've got a 3.5 game lead. I mean they picked up Chris Bryant, but they got Buster Posey and Brandon Belt. I don't know if I could name you another Giant after those three.
And that was another thing. All the ex-Cubs hit home runs their first games in other uniforms. Really
Jesus
weird.
Christ.
Very, very strange. Like weird Cub first shit.
Anthony Rizzo. I mean, as much as I'll never truly like the guy because of what he did to my Indians, but. Excuse me, my Guardians.
There you go.
But I would have loved to have seen him end up anywhere but the fucking Yankees.
I mean, but he's got a perfect New York Yankee name, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Rizzo!
Yo, Rizzo!
Hey,
Hey, yo, Rizzo! Hey! Hit it out to here, Rizzo! Let's go!
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony! Hit it to right! Anthony, Rizzo!
Rizzo, get the tortellini. Hey, whoa, hey, watch it now. Get the lasagna.
Hey, watch it! Rizzo swinging over here!
I'm swinging here. The nice thing about Rizzo fits also because he has no facial hair, so he already looked like a Yankee anyway.
Yes,
Clean
yes.
shaven, baby bald.
The Yankees and that.
I mean,
Whatever.
he's clean faced and clean blood. So,
There you go.
no microchips in his system.
Uh-huh.
See another anti-vax. Well,
Yeah, well, he was like the main guy when
anti-vax,
everybody
but
was getting on him.
is he vaccine hesitant? Because I think there's a difference. I think
No, he said he was one of the guys that said, it's a personal choice and I'm just not going to take it. It's
Okay.
like,
fine.
all right.
No, do what you want to
Fine.
do.
Sure.
Don't come to me though. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Well, it came out when they were talking when MLB was like, hey, if a certain percentage of your guys are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask when you go to team dinner or whatever. I don't know what the rules are for the teams, but it was like if you get to a certain percentage, we'll ease back on some of the protocols. And the Cubs were one of those teams that weren't reaching the number. And then he was a prominent guy on the team that was like, yeah, no,
No.
I don't want to do it.
Hey, I have two branches of the road to go down here relating to this. One involves the NFL. The other one stays in baseball. So what are we doing? Are we staying in baseball? Are we going to football?
We can go to
Yeah,
football.
go football.
I mean, my vote's football. Whatever I will go with
Let's do football.
the will
Okay.
of the crew here.
Because there's plenty of shit to go off of in football. So I'm curious where you want to start.
Well, the Vikings are a hot fucking dumpster fire of a mess.
Yeah.
And so they it's been coming out that their coach, God, what is their coach's name? Grizzly old
the head coach, Zimmer?
Zimmer, yeah. So Zimmer has been out there being like, my guys don't want to, they're not getting vaccine, they're listening to all this conspiracy shit, and I just can't get them to take it. And then it came out today that that they are the lowest vaccinated team in the league, 64%.
Wow. I mean, first off, who's getting that number? Like, why is that number out there?
I think that was a Rappaport.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not one of those people that's going to scream from the rooftop. That's a HIPAA violation, because it's not. But how does anyone have that number? That should not be something that's leaking to anybody. That's a bad job on the Vikings part or on the NFL's part. Whoever.
Well,
Maybe I was going to say, if I'm sure they're not doing it like this though, but I was going to say maybe everybody shows up to camp and you go get in line, get vaccinated, and they can go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We know this number. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they do know the players, but we know.
Well,
this,
I know.
you
I
know
know
what?
one way that people have been able to tell is
the wristbands.
well, yeah, but like the press conferences. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
Well,
And
see,
if you're not, then you do.
I mean,
So-
for like me, it would be very difficult math, but somebody with a little bit of math skill could put it together pretty easy what the percentage is.
So that those numbers were from Dov Kleeman and Tom Pelissero. These are both
yeah, they're reporters.
Yeah, he's a reporter for NFL Network, and Kleiman.
The Vikings were also the team that kind of like leaked that they would fire the coach because he wasn't vaccinated, and then
I thought one of their coaches did get fired. Or am I thinking of someone else?
Well, I did he actually end up getting completely fired? Because I remember that it was put out there that he was going to be fired, and then I heard that was only being put out there as like a way to pressure him into getting it. And so if he didn't get it, then I'm sure he did get fired.
I think he was fired. I think he was meant to set an example for the team.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think Andy's right about that. I mean, maybe not, and somebody can correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he did get whacked over it. Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, to keep going with the Godfather metaphor there, but
Amelia.
What was I going to say? Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean,
so the Vikings have their whole quarterback situation is on lockdown because they all got COVID and were close to high risk. And then, so their first round pick last year, a guy named Jeff Gladney, he is probably going to be going to prison for assault of I guess a girlfriend or something.
not funny, but
not funny. But I mean, it's just like, you know,
yeah,
it looks like shit. And I want to say that I thought there was one other thing that was going on with them. Anyway, Vikings bad.
Well, not only that, all that stuff, plus they just can't seem to get their shit together and win anything when it matters.
Yeah, plus their quarterback's still Kirk Cousins.
Which,
yes, that's
Zach and Greg from 2012 are all over that. I don't know about 2021 versions of it.
Kirk Cousins, he can really go, right?
Hey, the Browns should trade a first-round pick to get him.
Well, Zach, how are you doing? You've got it's bonus week for injuries here because not only is Carson Wentz going to be out for 5 to 12 weeks, Quentin Nelson also bone injury, 5 to 12 weeks out. Like,
there's an interesting spread on those, right? 5 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's a strange.
Yeah, both of those. Like, what would happen that it would take 7 extra weeks? Something that can heal in 5 is not going to heal until 12.
I
take enough milk.
I guess
What is it?
I guess they're rolling the dice on how good the doctor is. I don't know.
That'd be Chargers, though. That's a whole different thing.
No.
Then you go, 5 to 12 weeks because we don't know what the fuck.
The doctor might, fucking,
You
know what?
Hypodermic.
If I need to know what the Chargers vaccination numbers are, because I would understand if they were afraid of getting a needle from a team doctor.
It's like, I don't think so.
You're sure that's going to my arm? That's not going to go into my lung?
Yeah, no. After poor Tyrod Taylor,
as of July 16th, they were one of 2 teams that were under the 50% vaccinated rate.
How about the Cleveland Browns? Where are they in all this?
Well, this is from July 16th, so it's obviously been a few weeks.
Okay.
Washington,
Soccer workforce.
in Indianapolis. Apparently, this was again. I'm trying to find. So again, I need to find some newer information. This is a couple weeks old, and those numbers can change obviously based on guys coming and going to the roster. So, but yeah. So
I don't know. Look, it's a tough thing, and I get why guys like Zimmer are frustrated because we went through it last year where yes, they got through the season, but guys like Cole Beasley, for example, are taking the wrong lesson from that. Shocking. Whereas they're like, oh no, we got through the season. It's like, yeah, we got through the season playing 9 extra games on a Monday, 2 games on a Tuesday. We played a game on fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like
There's one game the Broncos had to play without a quarterback.
the Broncos had to play a game without a QB. Like, yes, they got through the season, but only because they smashed it through. They jammed it into the square peg in the round hole to make sure that we got there. And now that we're here, and it like these guys that are saying that are just like willing to say, oh no, if we get an outbreak, you know, that's because I wanted to show my they can't force it on me. And it's like, all right, guy, well, have fun forfeiting 2 or 3 games this year.
Maybe that's what needs to happen, is that you need one guy to start a whole chain reaction that costs a team a game.
It'll happen.
Oh,
There's
sure it will, yeah.
I have no doubt that a team will forfeit a game this year.
Look,
Yeah.
I think that from a personal standpoint, I get the vaccine or don't. I really don't care. I'm vaccinated. I'm good to go. Fuck you if you don't want to. I don't really care. But you know, they're acting like that this is unprecedented in business, and it's not. You know,
Yep.
my girlfriend every year had to get a flu shot at the hospital she worked for. It's common practice. Businesses do this kind of thing. You know, schools. I mean, Jesus, the
MMR shots and tuberculosis and
and you know, all the other stuff. I mean, and so I understand that you're concerned about long-term side effects. Well, you know what? There were probably long-term side effects to human growth hormone and steroids and drugs.
There's long-term side effects to playing football.
Right? And cocaine and heroin and, you know,
Painkillers. Maybe some painkillers that these guys fucking quaff.
right.
every season.
I mean, I get the argument, but as someone who has, you know, maybe experimented or not with drugs over the years, it's like, you know, what the fuck? How bad could it be? That's the way I look at it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I don't like the idea of forcing it on anyone either, but we're not talking about the government throwing you down on the ground and shoving a needle in your arm. If you don't want to if you don't want the vaccine, that's entirely up to you. I respect that. I think it's kind of silly, but I respect it. I wouldn't force it on you. But when you're in a business that's making this kind of money, and other guys are depending on that team showing up and being able to play to make the money they make, it's kind of like, you know what? This is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
And either you do it or you can quit and go home.
And I think it is in some degree, it's a slap in the face to some of their teammates, because I have seen a lot of guys on social media that have said specifically, I wasn't planning on getting the vaccine, but I did it because I had to for
work.
for the team.
For work. Yeah.
For work.
Simple as
Yeah.
that. I mean, look at
And so like there's these guys that didn't want to do it, but did it because, you know, for the betterment of the team, it turns out it's not so bad, is it, huh, guys?
Mhm.
And so now you have these other guys that are like, yeah, no, still not going to do it. It's like, all right, like clearly you're just not as much of a team player as you think you are, man. Like,
I don't know what to say about it. I mean, you know, like I said, it's a business, and you know, if it's such a bad idea, where's the Players Association on this? I mean,
You got to try and get a whole shitload of people to agree on something that's become,
Right.
unfortunately, very controversial. And
I don't think it should be. I mean, I understand
No.
that there have been reactions. There's no question about that. But that is the case with every vaccine that's ever been invented, from the very first one to the most recent one.
yeah.
And if you're worried about the mRNA thing, which a lot of people seem to think that that's like rescrambling your DNA, first off, it's not. But that's beside the point. If you're that worried about it, get the Johnson & Johnson. It's a traditional vaccine. No big deal.
And
You
the voice of all this was Cole Beasley, right? Where he's been.
Well-
We talked about him plenty, and I don't want to go into what he said specifically because he's just an idiot, generally speaking. But he did say one thing in there that I think is something that has been echoed by a lot of these guys, or I guess in a lot of misinformation about it, in that, you know, he tried to imply that we were lied to, that the vaccine was supposed to stop us from getting COVID, but you can still get COVID with the vaccine.
They never said that.
And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it works. Like it doesn't stop you from getting COVID, but it stops you from going to the hospital for it. Stops you from dying from it.
If you're old.
So there's literally, in the same way that these guys think that there's no harm to them if they get it, there's also no harm to them if they get the virus, I should say. There's also no harm to them if they just take the fucking shot.
Well, you know what? I mean, I get it. You know, they're worried about long-term side effects. I understand that. That's perfectly respectable, you know, position to take. Here's the thing. You're playing in the NFL. If you play 5 years in the NFL, I think your side effects are going to be worse than anything the shot could do to you. I'm just saying. And I understand that, but it's always a risk versus reward thing. And you know, I guess it drives me nuts because I live with someone who knows about this shit, and every single drug out there has a potential for a serious side effect. Every single one, the painkillers that you all eat like candy, the steroids that you pump into your body, even though you claim you don't, we know you do. The human growth hormone, for fuck's sake, none of that. You're not getting that from like a doctor.
Like, do these guys not see all the drug commercials that are on TV? That 2/3 of them are the side effects,
right?
Like,
and I mean, like I said, I respect the position that you're worried about it, but you know, it's okay, fine. Cole Beasley, you don't want to get the shot, and you want to play in the NFL, and the Bills say, sorry, you got to get the shot, or you don't play in the NFL. Guess what? I'm going to side with the Bills on that. And I don't think the Bills should be allowed to force you down and make you take it. But you know what? If it's their policy and you don't want to do it, it's free country, bro. Go get a job somewhere else. Simple.
True.
That's all.
I also don't,
you know,
like, I understand being worried about side effects maybe back in January, maybe. I don't know how you can still have that argument in August.
How many millions of people have taken this thing from all over the world? And
their third arms sprouting up all over the place. Like, come on.
Just in the U.S. alone, 161 million.
Yeah.
Like, God, what kind of a sample size do you fucking need?
Well, that's the thing. And then what drives me crazy about this is that they'll take 3,000 adverse reactions out of 161 fucking million, not 1,000 million, and go, see, look, we told you. It's like, go look at the flu shot. Go look at the, I don't know what the other vaccines are these days, but go look at any of those. You're going to get the same amount, probably more in some cases. You know, like what's that one? The human papillomavirus, whatever it's called. They've got a vaccine for that. I promise you, there are adverse reactions to that as well. It's just the insanity of taking such a small number. And then, you know, well, they're not very effective. Look, you can still get COVID. Well, you know what? If you just read anything about the vaccine from the beginning, you would have known this all along.
Yeah, and added on to that, like, sure, you could get it, but I just posted the numbers on my Instagram yesterday. Of fully vaccinated people in this country, less than 1% have contracted COVID. Yeah. Less than 0.004% have been hospitalized.
Exactly.
And less than 0.001% have died.
Yeah, so like, you know what? And like I've said before, if I grow gills in 5 years, it was fucking worth it. I don't care.
Jump in the ocean. You've shit. Yeah, we're gonna start a new Atlantis. You know, if I go,
I become the greatest scuba diver of all time. It's
I mean, like, you know, people talk about this like the bad thing or something. It's like, well, you know, the next 2 years of me growing third arms and gills and shit. It's like, well, the species had to evolve sometime, baby. I'm ready to go. Let's go ahead and start.
If I grow a third arm, I'm going to be a boxer, baby, just like that.
You know how much production would improve, like factory workers and everything? How much more you can get done with a third arm?
Right.
You can file your taxes and jerk off. You know, you don't need to deal with any kind of grocery store equipment, everything like that. Third arm, gills, fucking sign me.
Let's go. Let's do some X-Men shit.
Give me the gills, and I'm moving to the fucking Florida Keys, and I'm going to make $1 million right away. I'll be like, I can dive down and get whatever you want.
Yeah, if you were an introvert, like a super introvert,
oh yeah,
Pacific Ocean, free real estate, baby. You just jump on in.
You never have to see another fucking soul. Just
goddamn right.
You know?
Find some bombed out old war ship and just hang out in there and all you can eat buffet of polluted fish. You know,
you should be at the USS Yorktown in the middle of the fucking ocean somewhere.
I did want to quickly go over, and this is not football, but it is kind of it is in Zach's wheelhouse, and I wanted to get your guys' take on it too. So this is back into the baseball. Okay. This is like slapping the base.
No, never mind.
So anyway, Angels. I just wanted to get your take on these Angels uniforms.
I love them.
I do too. Now, these aren't my favorite version of these because I don't like the hat. I don't prefer the skinny halo to the thicker halo of the 80s version. So I picked the 80s version over the 70s version, but I love that Angels pullover, man. It just looks good.
That looks good, man.
I've got a Reggie Jackson version of that. I don't know if it's that particular one, but it's way cool. I love it.
Is that the Naked Gun version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I like the A, the skinny A, but a lot of people were contending that the Angels now own the red hat in baseball.
Well, I mean, it's one thing, the red hat's their primary look, but this is a throwback, so
See,
let it just be a nice throwback.
they don't own. I mean, I think that if you're going to say they own the red hat, that's got to, like it or not, that's the Cardinals and Reds right off the top. Right?
In the American League, I should specify.
Yeah, that's true. I would say probably.
I mean, look, the reason that I do prefer the all red now is because it does give kind of a cleaner split to the Angels Dodgers divide.
Yeah.
But that's like a cultural thing. From like pure aesthetics, the navy blue crown with the red bill is what this team had always looked like until 2000.
And it's got a lot of Red Sox vibe going on with that color scheme too. But
Not only the
font.
color scheme, the numbers, that is the Red Sox number font, isn't it?
Yep.
Close. If it's not
Pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Not too far off. Wait, Andy, on there.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I need the Angels to do from these uniforms. If they wanted to do something with the modern uniforms, you see the first comment there. On the
Yellow halo.
I need the yellow halo on the regular logo.
Shit, yeah, dude, that looks awesome.
Because right now it's still that dull gray or silver.
What?
And it's just like
Yeah, it's silver.
They went with, didn't they go with the gold at like the 50th anniversary?
50th anniversary, they've made it a metallic gold halo on the hat.
Yeah.
And I had that hat, and it was my favorite one, and it sucks that it doesn't fit right anymore.
Why the hell would you want a silver? Like, that's second place, baby. I want gold.
They introduced the current look at a time when everyone was adding silver to everything. Like it was around the same time.
They were just coming off the Disney Periwinkle look, which had no yellow and did have some silver accents. So
Yeah, see if you look there
yeah.
in the background, yeah.
Nah, you got to go with the gold all the way.
Thumbs down. Bring back the gold.
Do it, cowards, as Mike says.
Yes.
Do it, you fucking cowards.
Although I admit, and I admit my favorite Angels hat is the one with the yarmulke. So
Oh, I've got one of those.
It's all right. It's a unique hat. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It's something fun in our uniform history, but it's
it's hilarious because it's like I fully understand what the intent was, but it's like, did it come off? No. It's kind of like the scrambled eggs on the old pilots' hats. Like, I get what you're going for, but
Andy, do me a favor. Just Google Angels concept uniform into Google and go to the Google images. And the first result there should be what I want this team to look like.
Is it the it looks like concept uniform for the Angels, angelswin.com?
Yes.
Okay. It's very small image.
Well, it looked bigger on the Google search. I didn't actually click on it.
It is. I'll show you here. So maybe fuck.
And it's the current look with a navy blue crown and a gold halo. That's it.
I'm all over that.
I mean, that's it. It's not a hard fix.
how many A's are plastered over this thing?
I mean,
though?
it would need to have at least 50% less A's.
So here's the image from the page, Zach. It's like that's
bigger. There you go.
It looks bigger on the actual search page.
There we go.
10 pixels.
That's perfect.
Gold in the halo on the A, navy blue cap
Yeah.
or crown. And
I like that jersey trim. That's nice.
Navy.
Yeah, that's a little throwback to these uniforms too.
A little bit too much blue there. I mean, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean the belt would still be red. Like that's not a perfect concept, but it's.
So you're looking like kind of like what the Indians did in the early '90s, where they were mostly red, but they had the blue. Like the hat was still blue, but the piping was red. The belts were red. The socks were red. That kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I could go. I would sign off on that for sure. Absolutely.
But on the other hand, like they have really established that red brand, so
yeah,
I don't think they ever will do that.
How about this? We do.
So my main campaign is for a gold halo. Secondary campaign is for the blue crown. Otherwise, they still sell all the throwback shit. So I will always buy the throwback hat. I don't need to live with the current red hat.
So I am curious, actually, Zach, as an Angels fan, when it comes to throwback stuff, are you on team uppercase A or lowercase A?
Oh, uppercase A.
Okay, good man.
Yeah,
Good
let me find it. I'm uppercase A and then thick halo. Like I like the uppercase A, but I don't like the 70s thin halo that they wore last night, or wore over the weekend, I should say. I need that thicker halo that has a little meat on it.
Thick with 2 C's, baby.
Exactly. you know what I'm talking about.
I want a halo that knows how to eat a burrito. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
that's kind of fascinating. So the mothership doesn't actually have that halo. They've only okay. Here,
You listening, Chris? Get this shit fixed. Come
I
on.
know. This is a travesty. So there is a difference.
While we're waiting, I'm going to do a little pre-sell here. Stay tuned for something you never thought you'd ever hear me say in the entire history of this show.
Oh,
So that's the cap logo that they wore on the uniforms over the weekend.
Okay.
And then this isn't the cap logo, but the logo on this one has the halo that I'm talking about. So
Okay.
that's the 70s look where it's the capital A, but a thin halo.
And you want
That's
this
the-
one.
And this is the 80s one, which is
Yeah.
thicker, just all around.
Now, you know, I love that logo because it's a roundel and it's, you know, I mean,
Well, it's a baseball.
it's a baseball. Yeah, but it's round. It's inside a circle. That makes me happy.
I wouldn't consider it a roundel. I'd consider that a baseball.
I feel like the
pleases
halo,
me.
the halo needs to come down a smidge.
Yeah.
I don't know. This looks a little bit like a ring toss game or like a donut or something. Like it looks unnaturally thick. This is more like what I think of a halo. It's supposed to be kind of thin.
Yeah, but it
It's
doesn't
more in
have
the
any
middle.
power. It's a little weak to me.
I mean, this would look really good if it didn't have. There's just a lot of noise going on here. You got all this other extra shit. If you just
Oh,
had,
circle.
Yeah.
Well, take the baseball seams out, take California and the shit out. We don't need it. And there's all this stroke and shit. We just simplify it. You know.
how do we feel about the short-lived LA cap logo?
Eh.
I
like the CA much better.
And then this
Yeah,
is what
but
they
they're
did.
not the California Angels anymore, though.
That's what they did for the 50th. The link I just dropped in,
Okay.
which is metallic gold, so it doesn't come out so great on a
It
flat.
still looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's
Better.
solid.
It's still
Yeah.
better. Like again, if that's what it had to be in flat applications, fine. But as long as still had the metallic shine, like it looked great during day games. Like it was, it's still my favorite hat. I can't find it anywhere on the internet, especially in my size. But like, I wish I had taken better care of that hat. But
It'll get rotated again. Don't you worry.
I mean, when they're doing the 60th anniversary right now, so that's not really any color.
Just in baseball aesthetic news, staying within the state of California, Padres still look great.
Yes, they do.
Stick with it. Don't change course, Padres. You've done it. Just
You hit perfection.
Yeah, but you know they're going to fuck with it because that's what they do.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Unless we've got more uniform on baseball uniform talk, I'm going to say the thing that I thought I'd never say on this show.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Go for it.
We need to talk some soccer.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I have two questions for
Canada.
Zach, I'll ask you because you're our reigning soccer expert here.
Yeah.
On a scale of miracle or the Bengals beating the 7-5 Titans in week 17 to miracle on ice, where does the loss to Canada and the win over Mexico rank?
Oh. That's interesting. I think the Canada win's pretty significant for Canada. I don't know if it's it's not Miracle on Ice sort of
But
stuff.
definitely higher than Titans lose to the Bengals in week 12 or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's right. Because again, the Canadian women had never beaten the United States women in a competitive match. They've lost in a friendly over the years, but in terms of a competitive, this counts for whether it's World Cup qualifying or the World Cup or Olympics or whatever. They had never beaten the United States.
Got
So it
screwed 9 years ago.
Yes, they got really close in the London Olympics, but the heroics of Abby Wambach and Alex Morgan said otherwise.
No, they did not. It was crooked officiating that said otherwise.
I seem to not remember that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's pretty significant.
Hang on. Be right back.
The United States women's team was not good at any point during this Olympics. Something was really off in the way that they were playing, whether it's honestly, and this might be a case, they're maybe just got a little too tired of winning. I know that sounds extremely arrogant, but I think that's what this team had become, was a pretty arrogant side. And they just, the roster construction was a little off. Normally when you go to the Olympics, you bring some young players to get them, start to work them into the team so that you can transition. This is a team with a lot of players that are at the end of this era, of this most successful era of women's soccer. So it's a team that wasn't necessarily built right. And then when they got to the dance, they didn't play well at all. And this game itself was kind of a bad soccer game. I know you see a 1-0 score and you say, of course it was a bad soccer game. It was a soccer game.
I just say soccer game and go, it wasn't bad, but I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But like, the United States didn't get a shot on target that the goalie had to touch until the 65th minute. And Canada's first shot on goal came later than that, and it was on a penalty kick, which is the kick that they scored. And even the penalty that they awarded, it wasn't a bad penalty, but it was one of those things of like, the American defender couldn't have done anything. And it also didn't have anything to do with a scoring chance. So it was like, if it didn't happen, would it have mattered? Probably not. But
all right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Decider, so,
sorry about that.
No, I mean it's significant. I think it's significant in any time in world soccer when the U.S. women lose, because they have been such a dominant force since that 92 World Cup, the Brandy Chastain game. So
that was a 92.
Yes, it was
99.
I was gonna say 92. It wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, 99.
The kind of exhaustion and the thing of winning and perfection, it kind of segues nicely into the other bigger news, I would say, of the week. That was Simone Biles. So I feel like this is, it's slightly distracting because Kate Ledecky has just been tearing it up, winning gold medals. But Simone Biles, her departure from the group competition it kind of transcended sport a little and entered the mainstream, because a lot of, called the greatest of all time during competition, and, quitting the group competition and most of the individual competitions for mental health reasons. And it kind of shed a light on Olympians, the pressure that put themselves, the fact that like these people get retired when they're like 20. And that's
light on a lot of assholes too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad faith arguments going around the internet.
Well, yeah, I first off, she's what, 26 years old? Is that right?
Not old.
24.
24 years old. Okay, she's won what, 4 gold medals already? I don't.
And literally doing things that only men's gymnasts.
I watched some of her stuff, and I first off, I don't know why she doesn't play basketball. She can jump higher than anybody I've ever seen in the NBA.
Well, they also get to do that on bouncy floors. So
yeah, well, okay, so we'll take a foot off for the bounciness. She could probably still get it to like 9 feet in the air.
Yeah,
but I just understand. I mean, look, is she like some sort of great hero? I don't know if I'd go that far. She had some mental problems. She didn't want to, she didn't want to do the thing. Fine, no big deal. But I've seen people call her like a quitter. And
the people calling her quitters, are the type of people who really don't understand mental health in any serious in any serious way. And I mean, you consider everything that Team USA Gymnastics has been under over the past few years. It makes a lot of sense why she would have some of these issues.
If you think about it, with what these kids do, and most of them are kids. I mean, let's be honest about it. They're what, 14, 16 years old. This isn't something that you just go out and decide, hey, I'm going to be a gymnast, and 3 weeks later you're in the Olympics. Oh no. I would say that they train harder and work longer than any sport that we follow, of the big four. I guarantee it. And you've got that. You've got these. I don't know what these coaches do, but I've heard some bad things. So
the abuse.
To me, the surprise isn't Simone Biles going, "Yeah, I've had enough." I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, considering everything that they have to do. And you're basically, they've got other competitions and all that, but this is the big one. This is the biggest stage they're going to be on at any point throughout their whole career. So I don't look. She didn't want to do it. She didn't do it. That's it. End of story.
I think
everybody's a fucking expert on gymnastics all of a sudden now.
With her, specifically, and when she dropped out, I think the thing that kind of made it a thing worth debating over was the fact that she did it mid competition, and because of that hampered the United States the rest of the round. And had she pulled out ahead of time, because basically the way that this works is there's 4 girls that are on the team for the all around competition, and when they go around, they all have different roles, and usually it's 3 of them, and they can rotate in, and some people don't need to go in and some people do. But because she was out, girls that hadn't practiced or weren't necessarily ready to do a floor routine or balance beam or what have you, they had to go in and they got a lower score than they could have, and thus finished second to the quote unquote Russian Olympic Committee.
I think I love that.
It's really
I've heard this. I have not verified it, so this may not be true, but I've heard that one of the things is she takes Ritalin for ADHD, and she wasn't allowed to for this. I think it's also an anxiety medication too. But I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
So being unable, I don't know if anybody's ever suffered with anxiety before. I did for a year.
Most certainly. Yes, I have.
I'm going to tell you something. If you don't have your meds and that shit hits, you know what? You don't want it. No, I mean,
well, and specifically what she was talking about. And I mean, I don't think anybody knew that this was a gymnast problem up until now, but apparently every gymnast has dealt with it. Was what they call the twisties, which is basically when they're in the air and they're doing what they're doing, they literally cannot tell you what is up and what is down. And when that happens, and I think you kind of see it in the replays when Biles is trying to land those initial vaults before she comes out, she was almost a little surprised when she hit the ground because she didn't know like where the ground was. Yeah. So she didn't know how to balance herself or whatever. And that's one thing for any of those, social or not social justice, but just keyboard warriors, trying to take her down on social media, whatever. It's another thing when you're doing the kinds of flips she does, and a difference of like a half degree is the difference between landing on the back of your ankle or landing on the back of your neck.
Right.
And so that's extremely dangerous for her to do. Again, I think if she'd been able to pull out ahead of the competition and let somebody take her spot, like she was able to do in the rest of the competitions, and the USA has done very nicely, all those other gymnasts that have gotten that opportunity have taken it and run with it pretty well, then maybe it's a different story that we're talking about here. But I think it's a brave thing for someone like her to do because of what the backlash ended up being, where you have guys saying like, oh, Michael Jordan wouldn't have pulled out a Game 7 and he's the real GOAT. And it's like, okay, but Michael Jordan also pulled out of the sport when his family died or his dad died, right?
Yeah.
And he would go play baseball.
I don't like there's an old Native American saying, you never judge a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins. We don't know what's going on in her head, and I'm not going to assume to know. What little I do know is that if she, if she had what you call them, the twisties?
The twisties, that's what
and she was having anxiety attacks on top of that, I don't think it would have been the smartest move for her to
Can I just I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but honestly, most people out there, unless you are in fact a world-class athlete and deal with these mental issues and actually know how serious they can be, if neither of those apply to you, then you just need to shut the fuck up because you really don't know what you're talking about.
I agree completely, Mike. I mean, I would love to give you an opinion on what she did, but I don't know enough about it. So she stopped. That's fine. If that's what she wanted to do, big deal. The country will go on, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to break it to you, but the United States isn't any better or worse off because Simone Biles didn't compete. Simple as that. So shut the fuck up.
I think a lot of the keyboard warriors and people who have been more critical of Biles are people who grew up watching Carrie Strug and that what was it?
Carrie Strug, get forced to jump on a broken ankle by a coach who was proven to be a despicable monster.
People don't know that part of the story. All they know is American hero plays through pain. But it's like, no, that was abuse on the stage. And she retired. She retired at 18 after she did that. That was the end of her career.
She was a child being forced to do dangerous things that could have seriously harmed her by an adult with too much power. Like, that's a completely different thing than a 24-year-old girl who has dealt with all the things that Mike was saying about what the U.S. gymnastics program has been through. I mean, Simone Biles was one of the girls involved in that lawsuit.
Yeah.
And for her to be as good as she is and deal with as much as she had, and then to have all this pressure put on her, and for her to have one bad day, this entire group of people wants to just take her down for it. Like, come on.
Well, here's a question I was going to ask. Okay, let's say that it's a 4-man hockey team, and we're all really, really good. Okay, it's the 4 of us. We have a hockey team. Mike's our goalie. And we have, I don't know, we'll say Dennis, because he's listening to the show in the back. He's our second backup goalie. Mike shows up one day and goes, guys, you know what? I can't go tonight. So we go, fuck you, you quitter. No, we go, okay, Dennis, you're up. Simple. I don't know. I don't understand why it has to be anything more than that. And maybe I'm just being naive, and I am certainly capable of that on occasion, but I just don't get all the bile, no pun intended, but all the bile this poor kids had to put up with.
Oh, no, it's what it is, and we know exactly. We're kind of dancing around it.
Yeah,
it's the right wing of the internet.
Yeah, I'll dance around it. I'll straight out and say it.
It comes out and is like, because there have been a lot of that faction that have been fairly critical of a lot of these athletes, specifically the U.S. women's soccer team, specifically the gymnastics team.
While we're talking about the women's soccer team, and I think you're referring to Megan Rapinoe and the whole kneeling and all that, I would just ask this to my friends in the right wing: what part of freedom of expression trips you up in the Constitution? What part can't you get past? What part of it do you not fucking understand?
Also, these guys didn't take the time to actually watch the Olympics, of course, or watch their game specifically, but none of them were protesting during the anthem in the Olympics, because they know that it's the goddamn Olympics and it's a little bit different.
Even if they did
doing it in friendly,
even if they did, and again,
now you have them all going after the shot putter that did the X up on the podium stand.
I thought about the one that twerked on camera. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Well, the same one. One.
Good for her.
Yeah,
but I guess again I go back to the same thing. What part of this don't you get? What part is tripping you up? You're all supposed to be constitutionalists. You're all supposed to be all about the Bill of Rights and all that. Why can't you get past this?
Well, she's wearing the red, white, and blue, and she's supposed to respect the flag. She's representing our country, and she doesn't represent me.
Did she burn the flag on the stand?
She might as well.
Did she piss all over the flag on the stand? No.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm right with you. Like, it's all these people that they're just aiming to take people down because.
And let me make something else abundantly clear, lest anyone wonder. I am not some bleeding heart liberal, and that's not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, but I am not one of I'm as about down the middle as you can get. And to me, it's like, if you're going to honor the Constitution, then fucking honor it or shut the fuck up. Those are your options. You don't get to pick and choose with it. You don't get to go, well, we've got freedom of expression when I don't want to get a shot. But, when somebody wants to point out what she thinks is some sort of, worthy cause that needs to have awareness risen for it, well, she's a horrible fucking traitor. And it doesn't work like that.
I'm a pretty patriotic dude. You can ask anybody that knows me well. I mean, my girlfriend will tell you. This shit doesn't bother me.
No,
it's exactly like you're saying. It's America. This is why we.
I would say I would just add that made cheering for the Canadian women's victory kind of weird, because it happens, Canada wins, and you're like, oh, holy shit, the Canadian women's team has been on the doorstep of knocking off the US for a while now, and they finally did it. This is great, like, go Canada. And then, like, there's this weird segment of, like, MAGA people on the internet who are like
celebrating. Yeah,
who are celebrating because it's like, like, fuck them for kneeling, and it's like, Jesus, guys, you made it weird.
Can we go
back? You made it really weird, and I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, can we go back to, I don't know, whenever the last fucking Olympics were, we all rooted for the same team, And I don't. The whole thing drives me nuts, but I don't want to bog this down into like a bunch of political shit over idiots don't understand.
No, but these are the guys that go after Simone Biles in bad faith because they think the thing that they then see what Simone Biles does, and when she pulls out, they think that this country's raised another generation of weaklings.
Yeah,
and it's
she won 4 fucking gold medals before this. Come on,
she's still the greatest Olympic gymnast of all time, man. Like, she's still, again, she literally did like the vault that she was going to do if she was in the right mental state to do so.
Okay,
is a vault that only a man has achieved. Women can't do what she does. And she's just so much better than everybody.
The idea that people are saying that Simone Biles is an example of this country, creating another, quitter. It's like, from people who would break both ankles if they ever stepped, into an actual gymnasium.
I was going to say I don't care, but I get to your point.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just incredible.
Shut the fuck up. All right.
Yeah. I mean, look, she got all the way to the fucking Olympics. You don't get there by being whatever they call the people that we supposedly have raised in this generation or whatever. I don't even know if there's a word for it. Maybe there is. Well, maybe we'll find out someday. Maybe it'll be on Hello Fellow Kids one week. I don't know. But the thing is that, she got there. She's won 4 gold medals. This kid's not a quitter. She's not an example of the participation trophy generation, whatever you want to call it. She's a champion. She had a bad week. Give her a fucking break. Simple as that, And until you've been there and lived what she's living, you just don't know. And that's the end of it.
Look, I will say after that. Look. I will echo what Greg said. I have been diagnosed with clinical anxiety. Granted, I have never been a world-class athlete.
Well, you were a goalie.
I was a goalie, yeah. But yeah, like, when this shit hits, it can be almost debilitating.
And
if I could tell you that, like, I have had it hit while I was driving, and I have had, and it has been a case of I have had to pull over and collect myself, because if I didn't, I was going to crash. And so again, I've never been a world-class gymnast, but you just look at the stuff that these people do. I would not want to be doing any of that crap if I got an anxiety attack. That sounds fucking awful. So,
and what have you finished?
No, I'm done.
And add to that, okay, you were just driving down the road. Add to that, you've got, it's the Olympics, the fucking world's watching, which I think is going to be something that might jack up your anxiety just under normal circumstances. And if you've already got, like, if you've been diagnosed with it, but I don't think I've ever told it. I think I told you guys this story, but I've never told it on the air. But this was like the first or second year we were doing the show. And I pretended like I had internet issues and had to quit. And it wasn't because of that. It was because for about a year, I would have anxiety attacks out of the blue for no reason. I don't know what caused them. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the show, I started having one. I'm like, well, I can't do this on the air. So I made up a story and said I had to leave and left the show. But it, like Mike said, it can be debilitating. It really can. I mean, and if you've never experienced it, God bless you, because you don't want to. Trust me, you just don't. It's like, you're going to die, except you're not going to die, but you're pretty sure you're going to die, kind of thing. If that makes any sense, but it's awful. Yeah. And I don't knock the kid at all for not doing her thing if she was having that issue. Not at all. Not a bit.
I don't mean to. I do take anxiety medication, but it's not. I don't have like attacks or anything. But I mean, it's just
we're the fact fucked up weirdos, aren't we?
Well, I mean, to me, But that is a successful. I feel like people that are just willing to even talk about it. That's a huge victory, and that's one of Simone Biles. That may be the biggest thing she may ever do in her athletic career. I mean, the medals, and she's an incredible athlete, but by opening the floodgates to mental health discussion that absolutely fucking needs to happen so much more, especially in America, that you gotta be well, and you gotta take care of yourself, and you have to be your own advocate. And if you have anxiety attacks, if you have mental health problems that you are simply denying, they exist. Go address them. It's not something you should be ashamed of. And I hope that
look beyond Simone Biles being the greatest Olympic gymnast of all time, maybe the greatest Olympian of all time, Michael Phelps. You know what he's doing during the Olympics besides like doing the some of the commentating,
smoking weed?
He's part of an ad for an app for mental health. Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all time, is out here advocating for people's mental health.
Well, I was like,
why is that? I don't know why people just can't see that this is something to accept and deal with. And
and I was, and to the people that think it's like wimpy or whatever, I'm a fucking Harley rider. I'm 6'3" and I weigh 220 pounds. You want to come up to me and tell me I'm being wimpy when I've got anxiety? Fine, take your chances. Terry Bradshaw, 4-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, had depression issues. It's not about how tough you are. Some things you just can't fucking control. Simple. So,
and there are solutions. It's easy. You just have to take the first step, and it's not a big deal. It's really not.
No. And I'm not ashamed of it. It's like it happens. Mike, I was going to tell you, I had it happen to me on a motorcycle once. You want to talk about freaking out a little bit?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
I had to pull over the side of the road and just wait it out. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do here? But it went away. Thank God. But then I started getting treated for it, and I've never really had it bad since. But it still pops up here and there, but nothing like that.
And speaking of the Olympics, guys, I need you to be on the lookout tomorrow night for the first medals in sport climbing.
Oh yeah, okay. Nice. Funny.
Yeah, we have rock climbing in the Olympics. Started yesterday.
Is it wrong? The first thing Is it wrong that the first thing I think of is the Seinfeld episode where George brings sandwiches rock climbing?
I've not many episodes. But I speaking of first steps or big steps, that does kind of segue into fellow kids. You guys wanted to start
yes. Well, Andy caught a little flack this week for no fellow kids the past couple weeks. Yeah.
Listener called me out, basically saying, you guys advertise or whatever, you're going to do this, and then you never do it. And
no, we don't advertise it. I asked. I said, "Do we have it this week?" He said, "No," and we moved on, like everyone should.
Yeah.
Yes, but let's just leave Andy out to dry to get.
We don't know about the dry for sure. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I absolutely blame him entirely for it. But
I got it ready.
We don't have our intro yet. We do want to get an intro for this.
Yeah, I'll try to make something together. I'm trying a few next week. And I think that on Twitter, some guy, I don't know who that listener is, but he knows somebody who knows somebody. So maybe he'll be.
Well, that's Jimmy from the boards. He does really good voice work.
Okay, fucking man.
I'm fine with you doing the voiceover if you want to. I just want to change it because it's old and kind of outdated. But then again, so is everything else on the show. So maybe we just leave it alone. Are we ready to play fellow kids?
Yeah, I got it pulled up here. So go ahead whenever you're ready. We can do number one, and it's a video clip, and I think I've already seen it. But here we go. Big step.
Welcome to this week's edition of Hello, Fellow Kids.
All right, to begin.
Yeah.
Giant dude on a bullpen cart. Beautiful bullpen cart, has the field and it has a giant glove, and it can barely pull him. It's going so slow. A massive dude. Bullpen carts are awesome. See if we can get a better look at him. Look at this dude. Huge. That's jumbo.
I'm going absolutely 100% bussing with that. No,
that's bussing.
Absolutely.
We need to bring back bullpen carts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bullpen carts are bussing. I like the ones that are the big hats.
Yeah.
Those are
yes.
really
I also like the old Mariners one that was like a little boat.
Yeah.
Well, like the Mariners, the Mariners have the Moose mascot that rides an ATV. Like, just send him out there, throw the pitcher on the back of the Moose, and then just drive him into the.
You guys remember when the Moose, they used to pull him around? He would wear rollerblades.
Yeah.
And they pulled him around. And he fucked his ankle up. Really, it broke it really badly. And was out for like 8 weeks. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but that's what I think of when I think of the Moose. All right, what's next, Andy?
Here's number 2. This is not real rust. This is a van designed to look rusty. I didn't know if that was something.
That's a yeet.
Graphic design is my passion.
Yeah.
That's I've seen there's like a lot of these classic cars do it. They look aged. I don't know how else to describe it, but where they look like they haven't been, they look like this, but way cooler. This is just like an old van that's rusted all the shit. And that's
if anyone has anyone who has driven up north and has to deal with the constant battle against rust every winter, no, this is not fun. This is yeet.
Yeah,
it's not a good advertisement for the company.
No,
I mean it's. I get what they're trying to do, but it's just not the correct avenue.
No, because I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna go like, shit, they can't even afford a good van, nice van, yeah.
I think it looks like they drove it through a sewer. To be honest, I mean, it doesn't even look like good rust.
This next one, and you guys may or may not be able to relate this. Possibly Greg will, but this is like that old fruit Jello, like sunshine salad stuff that my great grandparents used to make, where it's got little bits of chunky fruit in the mold.
Oh, I already don't like it. Oh no.
No, this is a yeet.
Absolute yeet on this. Yeah.
Yeet.
Quick story. My aunt, when I was like 3 years old, tried to get me to eat this shit, and to this day, I won't fucking touch it because of that. So no.
Okay, I'd try it again. I'm sure it wouldn't be very good, but this was the nuclear age of cooking where they felt like they'd put hot dogs and like Jello and everything.
Yeah, no. Out of the question.
Right, moving on. This vehicle that has a lot of lights.
Okay.
I mean, look. Do you not see it?
No. I think you're.
Oh no! There it is. There it is.
Oh, holy hell!
As somebody that hates the people that drive behind me with the LED lights, and that's like just the regular LED lights. This is a big old yeet.
Yeah, I got to go with Zach on that. Even though if I were on my motorcycle, I'd want it to have even more lights than this when I'm driving at night. But on a regular vehicle, no. Like when I'm riding the bike at night, I want it to look like a nightclub coming down the road. But this is no good. Yeet.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, we're gonna delve into the fashion. This strange dress.
Yikes!
Futuristic black Tule dress?
No, that's just futuristic fucking stupid.
That is I've said yeet a lot. What's the other bad one besides bussin'?
Yikes.
Yikes. Okay. Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, that's a big yikes.
That's just that. Come on, that you're just doing that shit just to see if you can get away with it. You're just go, hey, let's try this. Let's just fuck with people. Let's do this.
I just don't. I feel like it's part of a costume for somebody who is like, I'm going on Halloween as a polka dot or something. That's what it looks like. Modeling. You ever like go to Halloween stores and you see the models on the costume?
Yeah. This is like when they do the jack-o'-lantern costume, except they haven't put the jack-o'-lantern part on it yet. Yeah. Like they haven't put the orange on yet. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right. I don't know if this is a. I think it's just a model, but the facial hair is something. Do you guys see this yet?
No.
Oh, there we go. That's
eyebrow lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on in his cheeks there.
Is that a gradient fade?
I'm very out on all overly manicured facial hair.
Like I will give him points for the work that had to go into that. That took some effort.
But that will look okay for exactly 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will start to fill in immediately. And that's just never worth it.
No, that's too much trouble.
Okay. Yeah. This next one is group. It looks pretty good. It's got a lot of different stuff. Goes tortillas, barbecue sauce, cheese sauce, guacamole. It's all served on a shovel and dumped onto your plate.
A shovel.
Is the shovel clean?
Can you guys see it, by the way? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
I mean, I think it looks pretty damn good. I would try this.
I think you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go busting on this.
I am too. I would absolutely take a shot. Oh, are those ribs on top of there?
It's a let's see, rib. Yes.
Yeah, that's busting.
I'd have to do that. I mean, it would be something I couldn't eat alone, but I mean, that looks pretty glorious. I guess.
Yeah, I'd take a run at that for sure.
Okay,
absolutely. Busting.
All right. Next on the list is this toilet, a very strange toilet, but it looks comfortable, but I don't think you could ever use it.
No.
Oh no.
That is a single-use toilet.
Yeets. Yeet.
I mean,
unless you really don't have any regard for the people that like clean your house for you. Like this is clear. I mean, clearly this is already, just by the look of it, it's already owned by somebody with way too much money.
Mm-hmm.
But this is somebody with way too much money and a disregard for the people that service their home.
Yeah.
So,
no.
I'm hoping.
I'm not even. This is a yikes for me. It's not a yeet. That's a yikes.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's even. It doesn't look like it's even connected to water. So I'm guessing it's just kind of an art project. I
assume that's what it's doing in the back, but.
Well, there's no like tank really. There's no lid, so you can never do any maintenance on it.
That carpet on the seat's going to get nasty right quick. I mean, right like
immediately. Yeah,
uses that fucking thing's going to be completely gone.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Next up, let me see which one of these we want to do next year. Okay, I'll save that one for last. One here, it's trash can for sale. Great deal. And the seller says,
clean it and it'll be as new.
As new.
I'm going busting on that just for the absolute nerve of trying to pull it off.
No, I gotta give that person a golf clap at least.
Right.
As new.
Like, with not even like the condition of it, but a trash can that size. Is that seriously something that you're trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace? Like, it's a bucket. I could probably go to the store and get one for $8.
You can go to Walmart and get one of those for half that cost if you want.
Right.
I'm giving them points for the effort. I think that's going to be a busting for me.
That's salesmanship,
Right. That's
sure
ingenuity, as they say.
Yeah. Last one to close out this week's edition: the spring shoes from Wish. I would honestly, they're like spring rollerblades. Guaranteed to get hurt on these fucking things. That's
whoa. What do you do with the spring?
That is that's an ankle injury waiting to happen. Yikes.
I'm with Mike on that. That's I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Is it so you can rollerblade and then dunk? Is that how it works or what?
I don't know. I have not seen them in use.
Because I don't know that you could use them. Well,
I'm sure you could. Like, I'm sure there's a circus performer out there that needs them.
Like, if there's some scientist that's studying like MCL and ACL injuries that buys these to get the wearer to destroy their knees upon landing. So, yeah, okay. I would probably give that a very tepid big yikes.
I've actually got a submission for this. If you guys would indulge me.
Oh, sure.
I'm posting the link in the private chat, so Andy can just bring that up at his leisure.
Oh, what the hell?
That is when English goes wrong in Japan.
Oh. Let's see.
Nice stick.
Is
that a sandwich?
No, that's a baguette.
It's a loaf of bread. Yeah,
that is a French baguette sold in Japan as a nice stick, and it's called nice stick.
Yeah,
nice stick.
Nice stick.
I'd eat one.
All right, I'm gonna go bussing on that just because.
Yeah, I think that's pretty like you know. It looks like it would be a nice stick.
We lost Andy. His internet was getting kind of squirrely there, so if he comes back, he comes back. If not, yeah, nice. I like the places in China, Mike, that they put English up because it draws customers because they think it's American.
Yeah,
and it's just gibberish basically. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah, no. That happens in Japan too, actually. So
yeah, it's just funny to me. But Andy, are you back?
Yeah, I clicked the wrong button. So here I am.
Yeah. Oh, we thought that the nice stick might have been too much for you.
On a plane to France. I can't wait any longer. I need it. So yeah, I clicked the wrong button. Yeah, that happens. But anyway, that's fellow kid for this week.
There you go. So now you can get off our backs, whoever it was. It was
the hell up.
Yeah. Might bring it back, you might not. We what else we got? Anything? We should wish Adam's here, so we should wish him a happy birthday because he's been with us from day one, and he doesn't like Zach very well, which I understand. But no, I'm kidding. He's always. I think it's because you're a Kings, or he's a.
Well, God, yeah, we disagree on hockey teams, but we agree on baseball teams. So
yeah, I almost called you a Kings fan. I would have been offending both of you at the same time, and I didn't.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry, Ducks fan and Kings fan. So it's all in good fun, though. But Jimmy, the guy that wants to do our voiceover, he did the some work for Super NES and some other stuff too. I've talked to him about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to change some of the sound stuff of the show, I'd love to have a third party do some of the stuff.
Well, it'd be kind of cool to. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do. I mean, I like our open as it is. It's just we need to update it. I would love to keep it exactly the way it is, but with updated. You know, I mean, Zach's still calling it iTunes, and hasn't been iTunes in what 3 or 4 years now. You know, and all that stuff. So
I got you.
Yeah, that's true. We could use a re-record on all that.
Yeah, we could just redo it ourselves. We don't have to go to anybody. Plus, he might want money, and fuck that. So,
I did want to mention Evander Kane of the San Jose Sharks having a time. So his wife. They're going through something pretty acrimonious, and I'll let you in a minute. I just saw a really good back and forth on it. That was probably one of the best insults I've ever seen. And they're talking about Evander Kane and all this stuff. And somebody said, this guy is cancer wherever he goes. And the reply was, yeah, but at least cancer is capable of growth. And I was
fuck.
Like, my God. But yeah, so Evander Kane mixed up in allegedly the gambling on his own games, and cheating on his wife or something weird. I don't know. He's like addictive gambler or something.
Yeah. Not a good look for anybody involved. I don't think.
No.
I don't know. I this is very much a he said she said. He's basically claiming that she's having a mental breakdown, and she's claiming that he's a cheater and gambler and gambled on against the Sharks. So
right. with this and then the Ben Zobrist thing, it kind of surprises me that we don't see this happen a lot more often with players getting divorced, where just crazy shit starts coming out because the wife decides to go scorched earth or whatever. I mean, I can only think of those two. I mean, I'm sure there have been others. Well, I remember Kurt Busch, NASCAR driver, a few years back, claimed that his wife was in the CIA and she was a paid assassin and all that, which I always thought was the gold standard of crazy wives. But you don't see this as often as you think you would, or am I wrong about that? Where they just go, okay, we're just going to start lobbing bombs back and forth, and here we are.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's wild to say the least.
Yeah.
It's just a weird. It's just the time we're in right now. This was with players' private lives becoming very public very quickly,
Right.
and yeah, I feel not necessarily bad, but it's just a kind of a growth. It's like I didn't really, this is all, if he's cheating and stuff, then sure that needs to be investigated. That, but I mean, like the stuff with his wife and everything, it's just like I don't want to know about this.
I don't either.
But that's all I had. I had nothing else for this week.
We got don't we have the Hall of Fame game coming up this week? NFL?
Yeah.
Jesus. Cowboys and who again? Let me look real quick.
Steelers.
Well, make your picks, fellas.
Well, we got the Cowboys opening up on Hard Knocks this upcoming week, so that'll be a fun thing to track.
Yeah.
And I know that Troy Polamalu tested positive for COVID when he's supposed to be going into the Hall of Fame this weekend, so
that's fun for him, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, while we're on the air, Greg, your favorite CFL team has
I was going to lead the show with this and I forgot because it's important. The Red Blacks have released a new alternate uniform.
Yeah, it's got plaid.
Yeah, it is red and it is black. So it covers all the bases.
There you go.
I do like the plaid though. The plaid is nice.
Is that only on the white one?
I think so.
Yeah. Pictures have a really good look at that. Oh, okay, no, it's on the shoulders of the red. Okay,
here, I will see if I can pull it up here.
My internet is going to shit.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'm going to share the screen. There we go. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Oh yeah, plaid collar and side panel, sure. On the white.
Wait, I want to share tab.
That's something.
I just you know what, I love it. The best team in football. Red Blacks.
All right, is it up there?
Yes, I believe it is.
I got to go over and bring it down to where we can see it.
Well, you can see the collar right there.
Yeah, look at that, huh?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, that's straight out of Letterkenny, man. Come on.
You can see it a little bit on that graphic, but not great. Not.
Whoa, down boy. Okay. Kill the audio on that. Here, we'll take a look. Who's the hippie they've got doing the?
Oh yeah, there you can see it better on the sides. Wait, these uniforms for the CFL are done by New Era?
Yeah, New Era does the uniforms. Yeah,
I think they only did hats.
Oh,
here we go. Look at this. Look at that masterpiece.
No, that's an old uniform.
Oh, is it?
Because you can tell because it's got the old league uniform, the old league logo on the collar.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, you can't really see any plaid on these close-ups. At the
Look
bottom.
at that. 2 ads on that jersey.
Almost the page. Sorry, Chris.
I miss Marks.
Okay.
All right. Well, there
There
you
you go. Let me remove that. Yeah, the Red Blacks. Red Blacks. Got to shout out.
You've got to shout it, otherwise it doesn't count.
You know, Letterkenny needs to incorporate the Red Blacks into that show somehow because it's a perfect team for them. As I digress, but
anyway. The other thing we didn't talk about, and I don't know how we missed it, but I mean, I guess we touched on it a little bit last week, but we don't need to go into it now if we're wrapping up. But the Texas and the Oklahoma of it all.
We need to do. We need to do that. We need.
Let's do that next week.
Yeah.
When the SEC has swallowed up OSU and Michigan as well.
Well, I mean, you had a thing came up today that the Big 12 and the Pac-12 commissioners are talking about a strategy meeting or something.
Oh, they're going to merge. Jesus.
I heard somewhere. I've not been able to verify this anywhere, but I heard I was a podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about this, and they said that what the other conferences may do is decide to back away from the 18 playoff or whatever it's moving up to, and keep it at 4, which would basically fuck the SEC because they're doing this because they think we can get 4 teams in the playoff or whatever now.
Right.
But I've not been able to verify that, so I don't know if there's any truth to it or not. But yeah, this needs more than what we've got time left to give it. So next week we will lead with that because or we can do a special edition of basically a football show. But anyway, Yeah.
lots of. I'd like to give that a little time, and I feel like we kind of, we're on the downward slope of this show. We can kick it off next week with this.
Yeah, we can let it marinate and see if anything new develops. But
I'm sure something will, because like Mike said, it won't be a matter. It's just a matter of time before Ohio State and Michigan are in the Southeastern Conference. That'll be funny.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll just call the SEC the Big East now. Right?
That would be perfect, right?
Jeez.
Anyway, yeah, it's. I saw too that Clemson. They said they'd contacted the Clemson and Florida State were now involved in this, and
Clemson and Florida State had reached out, but the SEC hadn't extended them the same invitation quite yet. They're unsure if their value is really worth it.
Yeah, the SEC is being very selective.
Because Texas and Oklahoma with no defense whatsoever is going to really perform great in the SEC.
Well, no, it's all about, was it streaming numbers they wanted?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Clemson, and I mean, I'm sure Florida State does great in Florida, but they're a national team. They're not a national draw. Whereas I think Texas is definitely a national draw. Oklahoma maybe to a lesser extent. I don't know about Clemson. I really kind of doubt it. I mean, they're big now, but they don't have the history of being like a big TV draw like a Notre Dame or Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas.
And much in the same way that Texas A&M is pissed about Texas joining the SEC.
Right.
I don't think South Carolina would particularly love Clemson joining the SEC, and I don't think Florida would love Florida State joining the SEC either. But
yeah, it's funny. I mean, just to close out the show on this, but Clemson and South Carolina, they fucking hate each other, man. My mom down there, and it's like, wow, this is a huge rivalry down here. It's like better than the little rivalry that could in the NFL, the Falcons and Saints. It's even bigger than that.
Oh wow, it's bigger than Falcons Saints.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I mean. But anyway, we're going to close it out, folks. We'll see you all again next week at our normal time and all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube, and wherever else find podcasts. And we are on a lot of other platforms. I just don't know the names of them. So we are. We're everywhere. But wherever fine podcasting is sold, I'm not just making that up. That's actually true. So with that, we will see you all next week.
Adios.